Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 15 favourite movies from the year 2019. Yeah, again, another really solid year. Some great movies from this year I absolutely loved. So yeah, that being said, these again are all in accordance with the release dates from IMDb. They all have 2019 against their name. This is just my personal favourite list, my favourite 15 movies from that year. Your list is going to be different, and so it should be. And as always, a full list of honourable mentions can be found down below in the description box of movies that just didn't quite make the cut for me. So yeah, that being said, let's kick it off with number 15. So coming in at number 15 for me, we have Toy Story 4. Yeah, a lot of people might think that this movie was very unnecessary. We had a nice trilogy all wrapped up. That made sense, and a fourth film wasn't needed. But for me, I absolutely love this film. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great direction to take it into, reintroducing the character of Bo Peep, and you know, her chemistry with Woody and where they are now. Yeah, I just thought it was great to see these characters back together. It had kind of a great villain as well, who you kind of sympathized with as well and understood her motivations, but nevertheless the movie worked for me. And yeah, I just thought it was really good, and it's not my least favorite Toy Story film, but yeah, I just had a real great with this time with this one, and I just really enjoyed it. So coming in at 15 for me, we have Toy Story 4. So coming in at number 14 for me, we have Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This movie is absolutely stunning. It's so picturesque. All the scenery in it is just absolutely gorgeous, and it's a great story, great romantic story about this woman who's been hired to sort of paint this famous and rich other woman, and the two of them form this great sort of romantic relationship, and I just enjoyed it. I thought the two leads had, again, amazing chemistry. It looked great. It was just a beautiful, stunning film. And yeah, that's the biggest testament I can give the film. Just very eye-catching with its visuals. And yeah, I just thought it was absolutely magnificent to look at. So coming in at 14 for me, we have Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So coming in at number 13, we have Le Mans 66, or Ford v Ferrari, as it's otherwise known. Yeah, this was just a brilliant movie. I absolutely love it. It's sort of focusing on the rivalry between Ford and Ferrari, and yeah, Ferrari was very much sort of dominant at the time, and Ford was, you know, trying to compete with them in this race and trying to, you know, break headlines, as it were. And it's got an amazing cast with Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Absolutely fantastic ending to this movie that it kind of leaves you bittersweet, but I thought it was brilliant nonetheless. And yeah, I just loved the build-up in this film. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I'm not into car racing in any way, shape or form, but if a movie can make a subject matter I don't find, you know, any interest in entertaining, then it's doing something right. And that's what this movie did for me. So coming in at 13, we have Le Mans 66. So coming in at number 12 for me, we have Booksmart. Yeah, I really enjoyed this film, sort of following two high school girls who are about to graduate, and the realization hits them like a ton of bricks, like that they haven't really taken the time to enjoy themselves, enjoy high school for what it is. It's a once in a lifetime experience, high school, and they haven't really taken the time to sit back and enjoy it. They've just spent every single spare moment they've had studying and practicing, and yeah, just really swatting up. And they decide, you know what, for the last night, we're going to just enjoy it and do everything that we wanted to do but couldn't. And that's the movie. It's really good. It's got some great relationships in it, great characters in it that you're interested in. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the film. Great sort of, again, another one of these coming of age movies that I just really enjoyed. So yeah, that is my number 12 pick, Booksmart. So just missing out on the top 10 for me, coming in at number 11, we have The Farewell. Yeah, this was just a fantastic, heartwarming drama. I absolutely, really, really enjoyed this film, despite its harrowing subject matter. It was about family, about a Chinese family who the eldest member, the grandmother, has been diagnosed with cancer, and from a cultural point of view, the family don't tell the grandmother that she's suffering from this illness. And it's about the youngest daughter in this, played by Aquafina, who's trying to come to terms with the way culturally they deal with that type of thing. And it's just fascinating to see. It's so well done. And I just really, really enjoyed the film for being original and telling this story. And I just had a great time with it. It's very hard hitting. It can ring home for a lot of people. But for me, on the premise of the film alone, I really had a great time with it. So just missing out on the top 10 for me. Coming in at number 11, we have The Farewell. So coming in at number 10 for me, we have Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. This could very well, hands down, be my favourite Guy Ritchie movie. I had a ball with this film. I absolutely enjoyed it. I love the cast. Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Grant, Henry Golding. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. A great British gangster movie. Colin Farrell was hilarious in this film as well. I just absolutely loved it. But for me, the star of the movie, the stealing the limelight, was Hugh Grant. It's the best he's ever been. Probably my favourite performance from him. Absolutely fantastic. Just a great British gangster movie about, sort of obviously the growth of drugs and that, and all of that stuff is there. It absolutely is. But it's just the chemistry between them. Very, very good dialogue, very funny dialogue, and just a brilliant film from Guy Ritchie. So coming in at number 10, we have The Gentleman. So coming in at number 9 for me, we have Marriage Story, starring Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. These two leads are absolutely brilliant in this film. I have one little problem with the movie, but overall, the acting in it is just absolutely superb. About this couple who no longer, feel what they used to feel for each other, and are very, very much drifting apart and decide to get divorced. Now, the problem I have with the movie is they want to keep it a very clean separation. And they say to each other, let's not get lawyers involved. Let's keep this, very easy, very simple. And they end up getting lawyers involved. And I can't really grasp why. And that really sort of bugs me about this film. But I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I thought the two actors playing the lawyers were great. Laura Dern and the late Ray Liotta were absolutely fantastic in this movie. But I just can't really grasp my head around that decision. But other than that, the movie is superbly acted. It feels very, very real and very, very grounded, and it's just an absolutely amazing film. Despite it's down a tone, but yeah, I just enjoyed it nevertheless. So coming in at number 9 for me, we have Marriage Story. So coming in at number 8 for me, we have Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. Yeah, I think the big selling point for me about this movie was it being first and foremost a Scorsese film, starring Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. That trifecta of actors right there, being in a film directed by Scorsese, was an absolute must-see, in my opinion. Wrapping my head around that was just an absolute delight. And yet, this does tell the tale of Jimmy Hoffa, played by Al Pacino, and it's a modern day epic. I absolutely loved it. It's got some de-aging technology, which for me it does work. It didn't take me out of the movie, but nevertheless, I just thought this was a gangster epic directed by the godfather of gangster movies himself, Scorsese, and I absolutely thought this movie was brilliant from start to finish. A little over long, I think some people would agree with that, but nevertheless, it's really, really well done. So that is my next pick, The Irishman. So coming in at number 7 for me, we have Sam Mendes's 1917, a fabulous World War I movie about two soldiers who are tasked with calling off an attack because of a potential ambush that was going to happen. And yeah, this movie is absolutely stunning. The biggest testament to it is the cinematography by Roger Deakins. He makes the editing in this movie look like an elegant dance, and it is just a joy to sit through. It looks like one solid take. He's really at the height of his powers in this movie with his abilities, and yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful film. It looks great. It feels like you're thrown in to that First World War with this movie, and yeah, that's the biggest testament I can give it. It felt so organic, so realistic, and yeah, it's just, you really, really do feel the stakes with this film, and it's a technical marvel for me. So yeah, that is my next pick, 1917. So coming in at number 6 for me, we have Knives Out. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. I was not a fan of Rian Johnson for especially his work on The Last Jedi, but I saw this movie as very much an apology for that film. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it had an amazing cast. It flipped the genre on its head of the whodunit. I was just really, really intrigued to see where this movie was going to go, especially with its cast, and I just absolutely enjoyed it. I thought Daniel Craig was absolutely fantastic as the detective in this film. The supporting cast with Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, Michael Shannon, Chris Evans, Toni Collette, amazing, referee of talent in this film. And I just absolutely loved it. Again, it breathed new life into that whodunit mystery, murder genre, and I just had an all-around great time with it. Yeah, not going to get too much into the plot about this film because it's one that I think you need to go into not knowing anything at all. And yeah, the late great Christopher Plummer as well. So yeah, that is my next pick at number 6, Knives Out. So coming in at number 5 for me, we have Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Again, similar to The Irishman, I was really, really excited to see this movie directed by Tarantino with the talent of Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and Leonardo DiCaprio all together on a big screen. And yeah, I just absolutely enjoyed this film. Rick Dalton, this actor played by Leonardo DiCaprio, was an absolute joy to watch this character. Brad Pitt's character was great as his stuntman / best friend. And yeah, there was a great sequence in this at the Manson Ranch with Brad Pitt that built up so much tension on that first viewing. And again, the ending to this film, obviously, if you look back at the history with the Manson family and Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, that was an absolute tragedy. But this movie kind of flips it on its head and tells, a fairy tale version of it. And I just really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Really loved how the movie looked. Really loved the setting of this film. And I just had an all-round blast with it. So, yeah, that is my next pick at number 5, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So coming in at number 4 for me, we have Taika Waititi's JoJo Rabbit. This was a movie that I heard about. It got quite a late release here in the UK. And I was very, very apprehensive about this film. A comedy about Hitler. The thought of that just left a horrible afterthought in my mind and a bad taste in my mouth, because I just thought, how the hell can something like that work? And everyone was praising this film, saying how good it was. Then I actually sat down and watched the film, and yeah, it completely 100% worked for me, despite, all of my reservations about this film. I thought it was handled so well, so tastefully. There were moments in this movie that absolutely shocked me. I thought the kid actors in it were absolutely fantastic, and the adults as well. Everyone was really delivering in this film, despite what this movie was about. But for me, it absolutely worked. Again, if you have your reservations about that, give this movie a go. It really, really is in good hands, and it did really, really deliver for me. So yeah, just missing out on the podium places for me, we have JoJo Rabbit. So taking the bronze medal for me, coming in at 3rd place, we have Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This performance was an absolute revelation for me. It could very well on par be with Heath Ledger's performance of the Joker. And yeah, I just thought it was an absolutely brilliant character study, touching on the effects of mental health, how mental health is regarded in society, yeah, it just touched on all those things that I thought were interesting about, you know, cut fundings to facilities that provided help for mental health. And yeah, just the descent of this character was very, very understandable and very, very relatable. And although he goes down a path a lot of us can't follow, we can understand why he went down this path and why he did what he did. And it was just brilliant to watch. The acting in it was absolutely superb. A great performance from Robert De Niro in this film as well. There was a hospital sequence that absolutely terrified me with where it was going. And the train sequence as well was absolutely brilliant, but yet understandable. And I just got this film. I got what it was on about, and I just really, really appreciated it for what it was. A great looking Gotham City as well. So going in at third place for me, we have Joker. So coming in at number 2 for me, taking the silver medal, we have the Best Picture winner of this year, and it is Parasite. This was a fantastic comedy slash drama. I use the term comedy quite loosely, but a fantastic drama about social class, about a rich family who end up hiring, unknowing to them, an entire family to come work for them. Each individual person is sort of hired on their own merit through lies and what they tell this family to just sort of end up staying at this rich family's house. They're all, you know, the start of the film, we see this family, they're in not the best of living conditions. It floods every now and again, and they just kind of use their wits to get under this other family's skin. And it leads to something that I didn't expect to see from this film. I really, really didn't see it coming, and I'm not going to spoil it at all. It was absolutely brilliant. This film needs to be seen and just enjoyed, and it was executed so well. I was absolutely chuffed for the film that it won Best Picture and Best Director. It really, really did deserve it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It was just a joy from start to finish. Really, really original piece that I absolutely love. So coming in at second place, we have Parasite. So coming in at number 1 for me, we have Avengers Endgame. This was the culmination. This was it. This was the big battle. Everything was coming to a head in this movie. It's a really long movie. It's about 3 hours. It plays as a really good second part to Infinity War for me, this film. And yeah, it has its flaws. I'll talk about the negatives first that I have with this film, is that it is a little bit overlong. Some things are a bit overstretched. It takes a long time for us to get where we want to go in this film. That's about it in terms of the negatives for me. The third act of this film was nothing short of phenomenal for me. Everything came together so well. It was the last piece in this giant jigsaw puzzle of the MCU for me. And like I said, the third act absolutely delivered. The action was there. It was absolutely sublime. Everything was tied up so beautifully and so tastefully with the characters in this movie that I just thought it was absolutely justified and so satisfying. Everything really, really worked for me with this film. Again, I don't want to talk too much about it because this movie is the culmination of a lot of other movies over, you know, nearly 10 years. And it really, really is worth investing your time in the series for me, just to get to this point, because it was absolutely phenomenal. A great, great journey. And yeah, like I said, a very, very satisfying ending. Really, really chuffed with the way that this movie wrapped everything up. So yeah, coming in at number 1 for me, we have Avengers Endgame. So yeah, that is it, guys. Those are my top favourite 15 movies from the year 2019. Gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.